The greatest threat that's coming involves the purchasing panic that has already begun. It's just the beginning of it, and it's going to continue over the next number of days, weeks, and months in a way that has never before been seen in the history of mankind. You're about to witness the wealthiest nation on earth buy everything. It's not funny. What I've witnessed in the last few days at Costco and the grocery store, as well as talking to friends I have from across the country, what's happening now is about to become a very big deal, and it's going to become an even bigger deal than the coronavirus itself, I would argue. So, and regardless of whether you think all these people are stocking up on food and toilet paper, regardless of whether you think that that's silly and that these people are overreacting, I'm here to tell you right now that that's irrelevant. Because so many people are now doing it, and those numbers are only going to increase, and there's no sign in sight of it slowing down. Let me give you some examples. We all see on the news before, say, a hurricane's coming, and there'll be people in that region flooding the grocery store, lines really deep, people buying water and canned food. But that's like with a few days of advance notice of, hey, the storm's coming, and it's going to make landfall here. And then within a week, things are back to normal, minus the cleanup. The thing is with this coronavirus, regardless of how bad or deadly you think it is, it's not going to slow down, in that for the next number of weeks or even within a few months, this will continue to spread. And every day that a new celebrity or public figure is diagnosed with it, more and more people are going to go to the store. I was at Costco on Thursday here in Boise, Idaho at 2 p.m. and look at these photos, which don't do it justice because they don't show the lines that are wrapping around. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So many carts that were full to the brim of people loading up. Now, let me also quickly mention that the cashier himself said that this is as busy or busier than the day before Thanksgiving or Christmas, which I already knew because I saw it with my own eyes. My other friend that lives in Austin, Texas, was at a Costco that same day, that morning, and the cashier said the same exact thing. Another person in California, same exact thing at a Costco, slammed like the day before Thanksgiving. This is happening everywhere throughout the United States. I was also at my local grocery store here in Boise yesterday, Friday at 3 p.m. at Albertsons by my house, which is a low volume store, this particular one. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. People's carts were full to the brim. If you look at here, of course, the toilet paper was gone. I think everyone has already seen or heard this. The toilet paper has been sold out everywhere. Bleach, almost all gone. And let me just quickly say that people buying water, that's a waste. Don't buy water. I'm going to tell you later in this video exactly what to buy. But there's no reason to be stocking up on water because there's no reason to suggest or think that the city water pumps are going to shut down or get contaminated. And even if they were, you can boil your water, or if you get pure, non-scented bleach, 8 drops will purify 1 gallon of drinking water. Do not waste your energy buying water. Buy various canned foods, rice and beans, like lentils, which is a high percentage of protein. And the reason why I'm telling you to stock up is because now that we know that this is going to continue, regardless of how bad it actually gets, regardless of how small the percentage of the population is that does get it or doesn't get it or dies from it, this purchasing panic is going to accelerate, like I just mentioned. And you have to be prepared that if you have to self-quarantine, because you should anticipate getting it, we're all getting it, guys. Vast majority of us will get it. You have to be able to know that you can stay inside your home for a few weeks. Also, let me show you something, or let me say that other countries are doing these vast lockdowns, whether it's in Italy or even look at France. Here's an article, and the US media isn't covering it, but this is today, literally March 14th, Saturday. Mass protests of thousands of people in Paris because they don't want to be on lockdown. I don't know all the details, but here's a short 20-second video clip to paint you a picture. Here we go. So here's my point. As this continues to grow in the next coming weeks and maybe month here in the United States, it's going to start slow, but then it's going to skyrocket. Then you're going to have various leaders that are going to have to make decisions because they can't just sit around and do nothing with their hands in their pockets and look like fools while this pandemic's going on. So there may be lockdowns in major cities, whether it's LA, Chicago, Atlanta, New York, whatever. If that happens, if you are forced to be inside your home for weeks on end and you have not stocked up on food, I wonder if that has anything to do with the protests or if people just think that it's being blown out of proportion. Again, The biggest concern now is the supply chain. So depending on how bad it does get, you may see, and the reason I'm sharing this is because if these events, if what I'm about to share with you does happen, you will have a warning of just how significant this is going to get. But if you see various domestic flights get shut down, you may see all domestic flights get shut down. Because it may start with, okay, major airports, LA, O'Hare, Atlanta, Chicago, or that is O'Hare, New York, Honolulu, Seattle, stuff like that. If that happens, you may have governors begin to shut down borders. And if they do that, you will witness a terrible fallout from the supply chain that will already be stressed. Because again, as I show you the pictures that you're seeing, mark my words, come next week, today's Saturday the 14th, come next week, you will see in the news, holy crap, this weekend everybody was buying stuff. Because I went by my same Albertsons again this morning to buy bananas. And it was at 9:30 in the morning when it's normally slow there and the place was packed. Well, almost packed. The parking lot was full and people were buying loads of food. So what I'm saying is that regardless of how silly all that sounds, guys, the events that are absolutely coming, which we know that the virus is going to continue to spread, because guess what? I don't care what you heard on TV by someone saying that, oh, it should probably go away when summer comes around, the warmer months, when the flu season typically ends. One, experts have already debunked that. And let me tell you very logically that you can think for yourself an example of how you know that that's bullshit, which is that right now, it is summer in the southern hemisphere. Notice you don't hear anybody anywhere talking about, well, hey, wait a second, we know it's going to go away in the summertime because just look at the southern hemisphere. There's no coronavirus there. There is. So that's how you know that that's bullcrap. So for the coming weeks and months, at least a few months, this will continue to spread. And again, because I know a lot of people are saying it's not as deadly as the regular flu. Well, hold on a second. It is about to be. It's estimated that it's going to be 10 to 15 times worse this year than all flu deaths expected, because the numbers are going to skyrocket. The mortality rate of the coronavirus is approximately 2%. The flu is just under 1%. The coronavirus is more contagious. So even though it started small, it's going to eventually hit this curve where it's going to skyrocket, and I suspect that is going to be in the next few weeks or inside or approximately a month from now. I don't know this. I'm not a freaking doctor, okay? What I do know is that it's a numbers game, and these numbers are about to go up. So regardless of how bad you want to debate that it is, it's almost irrelevant because it's all relative based on the reaction of it. How many people are buying how much stuff and depleting the stores, and how long you may have to wait inside if, one, you have to self-quarantine, and two, if there's some sort of lockdown, which may happen. And if that happens, there are going to be the haves and there are going to be the have-nots. Picture Hurricane Katrina for a second. It's a different example. It was an isolated region. Well, it was large, but different circumstances as we know. But within a few days of the collapse of the system and the looting and people not having stuff they need, there was some chaos. Now, let me just say, I do not anticipate, one, that all these borders are going to get shut down. I do not anticipate mass civil instability. But going back to that clip in Paris that I just showed you, it's fair to say that a lot of Americans, most Americans, will not prep for this. That's what people do. Most people don't prep at all. And then all of a sudden, when they realize that there's these quarantines and that things are being put up, cities are being put on lockdown and they haven't supplied themselves, many people will rebel. They'll riot. They'll go to try and steal from others. And again, I'm not suggesting there's going to be mass civil instability, but there is absolutely the likelihood that in some areas, for some brief moments of time, that you have the losers, the dumb, violent people out there that didn't prep at all, that will instead grab their weapon and they will try and take from someone else. That always happens. That is what people do. Even though a very small fraction of the population would do that, it's always enough people to create some issues, and you don't want that to be you. So you also want to protect yourself, and you know what I mean by that. All right, so let me also say, I said I would look at my notes. Okay. Here's what you really freaking need to know about this virus is that the numbers are showing that a lot of people that are dying aren't just elderly and the weak. They're people this is data from around the world now. People in their 40s are dying, and they're smokers or obese. If you are a smoker, because you need to keep in mind that people are suffering pneumonia and other complications of the lungs because of the coronavirus. It's not the coronavirus itself that's killing you. It's what comes after. If you are a smoker or a vapor, whether it's tobacco or the good 420, you need to go cold turkey right now. You need healthy lungs, and within a short period of time, days and weeks, your lungs will rebound incredibly fast and your immune system will skyrocket. So speaking of immune system, you need to start altering your diets to include foods that are known to increase your immune system. Not just vitamin C, but garlic, avocado, red peppers, mushroom, onion, dark green vegetables, spinach and broccoli. And there's others. Google this. And start implementing that to your daily diet. Also, if you're a big-time drinker, if you drink on a regular basis, or if you like to go out and get hammered on the weekends and do up the bars, you should stay away from that because timing is everything. And the last thing you want is to get in contact with the coronavirus, which again, you should expect to get. The numbers show that most people will get it over time. And the last thing you want to do is contact and get that crap after a long weekend of drinking. Think about that. So cut that crap out of your diet now, I guess. Oh, and let me also point out that the doctor who exposed the coronavirus to the world and was silenced by the Chinese government, if you're not aware, he died because of the coronavirus. He was 34 years old, but he was a smoker. Again, what I witnessed at the grocery store was, I've never seen anything like it, what I witnessed at Costco, and this is just the first few days. And just think, guys, regardless, again, of how bad you think this is or isn't going to be, what we do know is that it's going to continue for the foreseeable future, at least for a few months, probably longer, guys. And so every day, more and more people will be like, all right, I need to buy stuff. The supply chain is limited. I'm not suggesting for a second that people are going to start starving to death, especially in the United States. But like, your life could be incredibly inconvenienced, that you're used to going to the store, fast food, and you should anticipate that things are going to start closing. Schools, so you're going to have a lot more people that will be eating from home as opposed to at school like they're used to. You may have movie theaters and restaurants closed. So like, things are it's going to stack on top of each other, the issues is what I'm trying to say. So if you're going to stock up on rice and beans, do not forget to buy iodized salt. You need iodine in your body, and as a Westerner, American, whatever, our food already has it. You don't need it. Google what happens if you don't have enough iodine in your system. Look at the pictures. You don't want that. So if you're relying on staple food like rice and beans, you need iodized salt. Buy a couple of them. Another thing, if you're going to, don't be a piece of shit human and buy everything. Especially if you're looking to sell it for profit, like all these assholes that are buying toilet paper and they're just selling it for massive profit. Don't be a piece of shit human. Look out for your fellow man, your brother, your neighbor. Don't, like, this is like, God, people. Ugh. Yeah, so yeah, don't forget pet food. Don't forget pet food. Because again, guys, this might all sound like panic. This might sound like, okay, he's being silly, he's overreacting. No, like, again, everyone else is already doing it. Or not everyone, enough people. And then it's going to increase with every day that new stories and headlines come out. So like, it's not going to be undone, and it's going to continue for the foreseeable future. So the last thing you want to be is one of the have-nots. Just get ahead of it, buy an appropriate amount. I recommend a few months worth, honestly. I bought a few months worth of dog food, which wasn't cheap because they're 2 100-pound German Shepherds. But hey, I'm looking out for them. I bought a few months worth of various canned foods, rice, beans, broth, boxes of Cliff Bars and other things like that. And I feel good. I now have the peace of mind that says, hey, if Jimmy gets coronavirus, which I am anticipating, I'm not going to stop going to the gym or going out. I'm going to live my life. So I believe that I will survive it. I'm optimistic that I'm healthy enough and I'll bounce back. So I'll just quarantine myself in my house. I'm not going to the hospital. And that's another thing. If you start to feel a little sick, look, I may be careful of what I say here, but don't just go to the frickin' hospital because there's only going to be so many medical supplies. Like, if you are somebody that's at risk, then go. But if you're just a healthy person, like, guys, they recommend just drinking lots of fluid, eat well, and vitamins, and like, that's all they can do. Unless you're like, you already have other health issues. So be careful on that. Don't exhaust the medical supply either. Don't exhaust the grocery store. Don't exhaust everything or anything. Be good about it. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I said everything I think I can say. Bless everybody. Again, whether you think this is a big panic and overreaction or not, it's already doesn't matter because enough people are doing it, which means that now you have to worry about it. Because panic or not, you only have so much food in your house. And if this accelerates, which it will, it's going to get worse before it gets better, then you're going to have to worry about just planning your meals out. So think about that. Anyways, guys, my name's Jimmy. My channel's called Bright Insight. Yeah. Take care, everybody. I'm working on another video, which I expect to have out before the end of March. Hopefully. It'll be on the ancients. Should be an interesting video. So I'll leave it at that. I hope this information helps you. Leave a comment. Share what your thoughts are. Take care, everybody.